Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. This month's Three Blind Mice build is a Dodge A100 van. Now this particular van has a metal base, it's got real rider tires, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I swear. That's what's a lot of fun about these challenges with Three Blind Mice, because you know what you're going to get, but sometimes you just don't know what you're going to do until you start digging into it. So let's go ahead, get the van apart, and then we'll figure out something from there. But a lot of times like this, I just wind up shooting from the hip. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already got the van drilled apart. There's only one post holding the van together. In the back by the rear bumper, there's a couple of clips. Got that one post in the middle and the two clips that hold it onto the base. This has been extra clear coated because it's a specialty car, so it's going to take a little bit more time for the citrus strip to work. The base is nice. Got really nice real riders on there, so that's really cool. That's going to save some time. The interior kind of sucks because it's got that big old bump in there. It's not like you could really do anything with it or use it for anything. But the base and everything, we're not going to do too much with the base or the interior or anything. So let's just concentrate on the paint job and any other details that we're going to do. Okay, well, we got all the parts together. Let's go ahead and start stripping the paint and see what we can do with it. Here we're going to dip the van body in the citrus strip, which I'm now calling embalming fluid. I knew this was going to have to sit in there for a while, so I just decided to put it in its own separate bowl. Now, we'll let that sit. I think I let it sit for probably about a day and a half before I finally got back to it and all the paint would come off with no problems. So we're going to let that sit for about a day, day and a half. Alright, I took the body and I sprayed it down with primer. The first coat of paint we're going to put down is a fluorescent orange. This is a Createx paint. Take your time, put down very light coats of the Createx because it is a water-based paint. And if you put too much, it's definitely going to run. So make sure you put down very, very light coats. Get some drying time in between there. Sometimes I'll even use the airbrush to dry the paint. Now we're going to put down some fluorescent sunburst orange. I want to try and fade it from a yellow to an orange and then back to a red. And this is a very nice, clean, subtle fade. Notice how I'm spraying towards the back, from the front to the back of the van. Sometimes if you spray from the back, you're going to get those fumes and that overspray that's going, not the fumes really, but the overspray is going to coat your front of your car, and you don't want to do that. So do the best you can to try and spray it from the front to the back in this case. That orange is going nice. Look at that subtle fade. That's going to be really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of a sunset. That's really starting to look sharp. You can do the fades too, folks. All you have to do is just take your time and work with them. The worst thing that can happen is that you mess it up. And if that's the case, you just put it in some paint stripper, strip it down, and do it again. It's all a learning process. But that's how you have fun with this hobby, is take your time, experiment, and try new things. And this is the stuff, and hey, you may come across a new procedure by accident, and it'll be awesome. The lighting is pretty harsh on here because of the lights I use to film, so it's really hard to see the fade, but it's really subtle and really cool looking. We're going to let that sit for about half an hour or so and dry thoroughly, and then we're going to come back with some more color. All right, now I've got an opaque Caribbean blue, and I got this idea in my head. It's going to be kind of like a curve from the back to the front, and we're going to curve it up towards the top here. And again, this is my vision, so be patient. All will be answered in a few moments. I see the yellow to the orange to the red, and it reminds me of the sun. Being that I live in Florida, it reminds me of the beach. So I'm kind of going with this blue here and dabbing it on. And now if you have a sponge or something with a rough texture, something soft also, this is going to help you get a really good finish here. That's neat. Now we're going to repeat it on the other side. Just take your time and just very, very lightly dab. Now, since this is Createx paint, it's going to mix well with the other. I did a paint job here not too long ago where I tried to do the dabbing over some urethane paint. And since this is water-based, it kind of beat it up. Eventually, it worked, but it works better when you're spreading paint on its own kind of paint, if that makes sense. Kind of cool. Let's get in there. We got a little bit farther to go to get to the point that I want to. I may put down another color on top of it to strengthen it up, and then we'll come back in with some more blue. But this is looking nice. I'm happy with the way this is going. Just don't overdo it. Once you get to a point that you like it, just stop, because you can definitely overdo this and defeat the whole purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, we're going to let that dry for just a little bit and come back in with some more paint. Alright, this is what it looked like when it was done. And then we let that dry up a little bit. And then I'm going to come back in with some white and then some more blue on top of it. So this is what happened. I put some white down and then I put some more blue on top of it. That looks cool. To me, it kind of looks like a wave. You know, like a curling wave, like if you're surfboarding or something like that. So that's kind of neat. Here we've got our parts. Here's our van. It's all been clear coated and detailed out. The headlights, the tail lights, it's all been clear coated. Base is nice and clean the way it was, and so's the interior and the windshield. So we got all these pieces. Now I've got these surfboards here too that I want to use. So that'll be part of the finished product. Let's go ahead and put it all together and let's do our reveal. Here's the Dodge A100 van as we started. We had to strip it down. We put some primer on there, some white primer, some Tamiya primer, and we used that, and then we went back in with the Createx paint and we tried to create something pretty cool. Now don't forget, with these Three Blind Mice builds, there's an awful lot of folks that are also participating in this build. And yeah, it's a build-off, but there's not really a winner or a loser. It's just a bunch of people getting together and having some fun. But don't forget to do a search for Three Blind Mice build, and you'll see the A100 van, and check out those other videos, because there's a lot of really cool builders out there that come up with some great ideas. And this is what we got to. We got us a surfing van. The surfboards tend to set it off, and we happen to have the guy and the girl there too. Man, I'm pretty happy with this build. I like the way it turned out, and it's definitely something different. And again, I made this all up as I went along, so there it is. I mean, this looks really cool. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Went with that fluorescent yellow, and then fluorescent sunburst, and then back to a fluorescent red. And then I dabbed in the water and the surf and everything, and then detailed out the tail lights, the headlights, clear coated it all with urethane clear from the Redline shop, and we put the surfboards on there, and then the surfing dude and his girlfriend. I had a lot of fun with this. This was really cool. Now again, folks, experiment with your paints, experiment with your colors. The worst that can happen is that you hate it. Okay? But hey, you might come up with something really cool, so give it a try. That's the fun of doing this whole thing. Now I've got a Patreon page, and my subscribers, they help me with a small donation every month. And it helps me keep these videos going by helping me with my supplies and stuff like that. So please, I'm going to leave a link in the comment section. Please check it out. I sure could use your help to keep this YouTube page going. And we got a lot of videos coming up here in the near future. More Hot Wheels, more Johnny Lightning, and a lot more custom builds and some Matchbox down the road. So please stay tuned for that. This is Paul with Diecast Graveyard in this month's Three Blind Mice build. Thank you to Lee, George, and Paul, and look forward to next month's build. It's been a lot of fun. Please like, share, and subscribe on my page. And my name is Paul, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers.